So I just want to talk for a second. So you probably have seen on Twitter, and it's been talked about a lot in the mainstream media today, and it's a good thing that's been talked about, and I will say that. And the media is doing its job for once. But yeah, that's to do with takeaway meals. You probably have heard of Fine Gael Senator talking on News Talk today. He was on about the amount of litter that's from takeaway McDonald's meals and KFC meals and etc etc etc. Now, before I say anything else, you wouldn't believe it. Somebody that's been working for the last 7 years in Tidy Towns, and I've been working every day. The only day I took off this, from April last year. It wasn't April. I was off a month. So, no, sorry, May. It was probably May last year. I went back on duty. I think it was on my channel, and I said when I was going back. I can't remember exactly when it was. But I went back for May. I only took 1 day off since from say May to now. And that day was St. Stephen's Day. I took St. Stephen's Day off. Had a break on St. Stephen's Day. But as somebody that's been working all them days, every day of the week, you find a McDonald's, you find a KFC meal, you find some kind of takeaway meal. And the idea is, and I suppose it is a good idea. It's a good idea in thought. And I do like it because, again, we have to stop these people from doing it. Again, half the people don't pay the litter fines. This is little offences. But again, we need to tackle it because it is something that's putting strains on our tidy towns, and it's not fair on tidy towns groups to be busting themselves every day of the week to make sure the town's in spotless condition. And then some people come along that have no respect for themselves, no respect for their country, no respect for anything, don't care about anything, and just come along and just dump a McDonald's meal, dump a KFC meal. You might be like, that's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. Because again, as somebody that I cover a national road, a bypass. I see it firsthand, and I see it on the side roads. I see it everywhere, where I am. But somebody does clean up every day. I know, and again, you don't know how bad it is, and I say to people, you don't know how bad it is, because people don't really. It's kind of become very normalised nowadays, seeing rubbish at the side of the road, people take nothing of it. But again, when you're out and about, you notice it, and when you're a little one, you do notice it. It doesn't really affect you as much as probably general people when they see it, but it is bad. It is bad if you went on a national road now, a bypass or motorway. You can see it for yourself that it's a pandemic, in other words, of it. And it is an idea that we should put, like take for example in Cavan, say Mary Shannon or something like that, Mary O'Rourke or something like that. Take some McDonald's meal out of Cavan McDonald's, and then dumps it up some place in Ballyconnon, up in the Ballyconnon Mountains, and you find I happen to be coming along, say, take for example, and I look into the bag and I see the number, say it's 1678. And I go to Cavan McDonald's and say, what was this? Now, who was this that took out this? Because again, this is in the eyes of the law. You do have to prove how that got there. If it's your name and you got it, or even your number plate, if they take your number plate and put it on it, again, we can trace that. We can look it up. Again, people don't realise that in an instance, if we expect you of a crime, or we have evidence, again, we have to have evidence. We can't be going around accusing people in the wrong. But if we have evidence, any kind of evidence, if a name or anything like that turns up in the bag or anything, we can reasonably check up your name and find out who you are and where you live, to send you a fixed penalty notice. And that might sound a bit harsh, but again, it is a serious. Again, particularly in legal up because, it is the law. Again, it is the law, and we have to enforce it because again, it is the law, and we have to. Just think, for example, if you lived in a society where everybody just fucked the rubbish out onto the street, onto the road. Think about the amount of rats, venom, think about the amount of diseases, because obviously dirt causes diseases, and obviously food and everything, and then you have rats and everything, it causes diseases. It does really cause diseases, and it's not clean, it's not tidy, and then you have children playing in it. Be an awful mess if we allowed that to happen. And that's what's happening in this country. That's what's happening. And the general amount of people get offered, like in Cavan Mon, for example, half the fines going paid. And it's a disgrace. I give you an example. Last week, I happened to come across a cow docket. And you might be saying what a cow docket was. So somebody bought a new cow. And I ended up finding along the side of the road, I found his name and his address and his phone number there. And you might be like, okay, what happened then? So I rang him up and I asked him, how did it, because it was registered in County Westmeath, the cow. Because I looked it up, it was registered in County Westmeath, which Westmeath County Council was taxing Westmeath. So I asked him, and I said, how did they end up there? And he said it straight. He did say it straight, and in fairness, he did confess to it. He said it straight, and he did put it out. He did up it on one of the votes. He didn't say whereabouts exactly it was, but again, he did admit that he did. And again, I wish there was more people like him that just said it straight and took responsibility. Didn't bullshit. I often hear many people bullshit. And again, I often hear people, and generally, you can tell when somebody's genuine and somebody that's really showing remorse for their actions. The majority of the time, we just say, don't do it again. We give you a slap in the hand. Because generally, if somebody's showing remorse and showing that they're truly sorry for it, we'd be, particularly in little fines, we wouldn't be that strict on. But with legal dubbing, we would be very strict on. That's something that we are extremely strict on. But again, I've often come across people that it happened just to fall out of the pockets, and you can tell straight away by the person's reaction or by how they sound. You can tell that they truly are sorry, and they truly are upset, and they really are sorry about it. And that's fair. But you come across these people that are just smart, and then again, I always try and be reasonable with these people. I always try and do be reasonable, even though they cause a huge amount of stress, because again, they cause a huge amount of stress for me. I'm be honest with you. And majority of these, especially legal dumpers, they cause a huge amount of annoyance for me. And again, I always be reasonable, and I always come across one of them, or I'm talking to one of them. I'm always reasonable. I must be honest, I'm always reasonable. The only time I'm not reasonable when they won't be reasonable with me, when they won't meet me halfway and they negotiate with me and talk to me about different things. Because again, if they don't talk to me, how am I supposed to know what's going on with them? Again, this is the thing. If they do, it's better to talk and it's better to cooperate than not cooperate, because it'd be lessen the burden on you, I suppose. But again, I do think it's a good idea. But here's the next part of what to talk about. We get it very hard to enforce, and again, this is in Cavan Monaghan and across the country too. We're getting it very hard to enforce civilian law. So obviously you see this with dog droppings and that. It's extremely hard to keep track and everything. I'm just trying to think, how would you do it? How would you do it? Take for example, I think today I was out picking rubbish on the bypass, going up to Belturbet, going up to Northern Ireland while I was near Belturbet picking a bit of rubbish. And I came across good luck McDonald's meals. I might be honest, every day you come across McDonald's meals. Or KFC, you come across, I did, for example, one in particular, I had to literally reach into actually I have a little picker here. I have two new little pickers. So I literally had to go on my tippy toes into the shop to get a box of pizza. And again, I don't know where the box of pizza came out, but I literally had to reach into the hedge to get a box of pizza out. So that's another thing too. You come across a few boxes of pizzas and things like that. And again, this is the thing. If you did come across, say, a number plate, say if they wrote the number plate and ended up being thrown on the road, this is the thing. I would have about 600 things to look up, and I might be honest, I have 600, maybe 700. Again, if you think about a day, walking on a national road, you would. I tell you something. I think. I don't know what you would say, but my God, you would be going mental. You would be going mental, because imagine the amount of information you have to go through. You'd be literally full on going writing up reports and saying this and that and the other. Imagine the strain on the local authorities having to go through all them processes. And then if they didn't pay the fines, they go to court, and then obviously that takes donkey's years to go through. Because it takes again, they drag it out as much as they can. But again, this is the thing. It's a good idea. It is a good. I will make people. It is a good idea, because again, as somebody that does it, again, I love doing what I do. I know, to be honest with you, but it comes to a point again. I don't mind doing it. I might be honest. I don't mind doing it. But it's the thing that always gets to me. It's just if they had a small bit of decency, a small bit of respect, a bit of respect. Because again, I don't think these people would like it if we went to the back garden and threw McDonald's meals around their garden. I don't think they'd be happy with it. And again, these people who lead up with it and everything, the houses are immaculate. The vast majority of times when I've seen people's houses are lit up, the houses are spotless. They're literally like the Palace of Versailles. And then they go around throwing rubbish around the country. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. some of the things you see here is just, you just have to really just say to yourself, is this reality? Like, there's people coming from different counties to County Cavan to illegally dump, and they're probably driving through the night to come to Cavan to dump, and the same in other counties. And the reason why they do that too is it's hard, because we have to communicate with that local authority and find out who it is. And it takes time, it does take time, and it does draw out, it really does take time. And obviously it's a different district and everything. It's just stress and hassle. Again, they make it as hassle as they can for us. But again, we have to do our bit as a local authority, and obviously, try to enforce some kind of law and order. But yeah, justice in this country doesn't come very cheap, does it? But yeah, I just thought I'd talk about that. Again, I saw you went on a bit. I just wanted to talk about it. Because again, it's something that, again, I can relate to. And again, it's something I very much can relate to. And I see every day of the week. And, that's something I can relate to very much. So yeah, take care everybody. Bye.